Okay, I'm gonna try this out. I think I got it, and I'm gonna frame it like this. I'm gonna talk to you, Wes Bertrand, because I've been so happy to have our conversations. I'm really talking to myself slash the world slash conscious, but I'm gonna frame this as a message to you directly, my dear friend and potentially emerging therapist type person. And what is it? What do you call people you want to emulate? You admire? I'm your admirer? I don't know. Anyway, Wes. It goes like this. This is a rhetorical... I can get you to maybe... do that little... Come on. Oops, I think I stopped recording. No, I'm still recording. I'm in frame here. Okay, I guess I'll just hang out here. Turn this around so I don't try to keep looking at myself. Okay, Wes, so goes like this. Here's my idea. I'm going to call it the cubed blind spot, something like this. So I'm listening to Sam Harris, and he's got a conversation on compassion with this beautiful Buddhist meditator. It's a really beautiful conversation. They just got to this point, which is really interesting to me, talking about the difficulty the super wealthy have in empathizing, the structures that make it so that the wealthier you get, the easier it is for you to not need to balance appropriate integrity in your interactions, because you can swap people out who are happy to be anywhere on any rung below you on the hierarchy that is close enough to be able to touch you. When you're this really wealthy, or this Davos level wealthy, the 3,000 billionaire, the 30,000, the next tier down kind of situation. This guy's talking. He's talking really beautiful stuff to me, pointing out the extreme difficulties with having groups of this level of wealth be the primary problem solvers for the systemic emergencies that our collective is currently facing. The systemic meta emergencies, because they're multiple, multifaceted, multi-connected, multi-tiered, right? Boom! I'm Pence. I'm Obama. I'm the Dalai Lama. Let's go with that. Okay, you fly. Okay, so here's the deal. This dude, as he's talking the super compassionate talk, making very brilliant points, in my opinion, about the difficulties of being rich and wanting to help, or trusting the rich to help. He points out what appear to him to be these basic inequalities and inadequacies, and the deep, the deep bond of compassion that we can find for each other when we recognize the problem of moral luck, that we all ended up in the positions that we are, but we had no control over any of it. And here we are. And we see those with the worst moral luck and situational luck, and we want to help. And he's like, Wes, he's like, they don't have universal education. They don't have free public schools. They don't have... Cat, you knock over my camera. It's an earthquake. They don't have universal health care, education, daycare, right? And you, Wes, I presume would immediately have a difficult time conversing with him, because you would start to hit him at the level of these are government programs, and government is intrinsically aggressive, and so what are you doing? And this is not going to persuade people, and it shouldn't. And if you think it will, you are blind to your blind spots. So I'm trying to get to the point now. So I think it goes something like this. If you wish to persuade somebody of something that feels that you can intuit is radically outside of their previous paradigm, such as this beautiful human being who wants to help, who is not skeptical of government mechanisms of helping, and if you happen to have that kind of that libertarian objective framework, I know you do, you're a voluntarist, it all resonates with me. I'm the same. And yet, it is not a moral failing of this wonderful fellow by the name of James Doty and his book, Into the Magic Shop, A Neurosurgeon's Quest to Discover the Mysteries of Brain, Secrets of the Heart. Yeah, so I'm going to fail at sharing this idea, but I just got to try. Anyway, but the gist of it is, when you talk to somebody, the first move is to, at a spiritual or metaphysical level, open up the space of seeing blind spots. And to get us into this real shared space of radical unknowingness, where it's like, oh, here you are. Hi, I'm Wes. Oh, hi. Hi, James. Doty. It concerns me that your compassion is not going to manifest the way you want, and the strategies for getting those needs met are actually subversively tragic because of the threats of force built into any free health. When he says free education, he uses the word free. He doesn't know what the word free means, apparently. James, he's not being honest about what the word free means, and I know with a little bit of introspection you would happily concede that it's not technically free. It is just a redistribution mechanism that brings the bottom up enough or more to a point where we're hoping less suffering. Okay, so what am I trying to say? It's so fucking painful. It's so hard to get these thoughts across. They're so multidimensional, and they're so swimming in the intersubjective. But I'm just going to keep powering through, and at some point I'll get a little sentence across that summarizes the whole damn thing. Okay, so Wes, you meet James, and you use your Wes strategies, and you talk about non-aggression principle, and then you're like, oh, I guess he can't grok my thing. No, Wes, I disagree with that. It is that you're not grokking, that the chasm is not 1 grok away. The chasm is at least 2 groks away. And we both have to do what I'm going to call the meta grok first, which is that we are all blind to our blind spots. Apparently only Dick Cheney understood this. And when we attempt to communicate a paradigm shift to each other, we want to open up the other to the space of seeing our blind spots. So I'm aware that I cannot be aware of things I'm not aware of. And thus, there might be true facts that are outside of my available information stream that yet might still be nonetheless true. And I have to acknowledge that there's that this opaque space, I don't know how big it is, I don't know how complex it is, I don't know how relevant it is, right? So when James misses the tragic strategies built into government redistribution of aggression, he's not grokking that. So hard. Okay. So when Wes meets James, what Wes needs to do first is invite James into the space of blindness. I see that there's a whole bunch of things I don't see. I guess guys are whatever. Okay.